Now, I'm once again close to Dongjak. I took the bus. We don't live very far from Dongjak, but today, because the weather is just so awful, I took a bus just for a few stops from our own neighborhood to here, in order to minimize how wet I got, especially my feet. It turned out not to be a good plan because a complete idiot, a van driver, pulled up next to the bus stop, in front of the bus stop really, because he thought it was convenient parking, and in the process of doing that he created a big splash. Didn't care. I banged on his window. He just pretended nothing was happening, but my feet got wet anyway. I might have been better off just walking all the way from our neighborhood. In any case, here I am, and these are the conditions. And this is what it's like right now. There was rain that was predicted starting last night. It didn't really rain much yesterday, which was a relief to people, and I made some videos about that. However, Sugi and Soon, my brother-in-law, met for dinner, and on the TV news in the Shiktang, between 200 to 300 millimeters of rain were predicted overnight. It was a rather light rainfall overnight, and so again, people felt sort of hopeful. But the rain, I guess, decided to save itself up for the daytime. It's been quite heavy all day, and so I'm walking now toward the Dongjak Saguri. It's sort of an odd intersection. It's not really four-way, and it's not really, I guess it's kind of three-way. It's a number of large roads sort of intersecting, and one of them curves along this this tributary that I take my bike along. Here are some cars driving along the intersection, creating huge splashes. A lot of water is accumulating as this downpour continues. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk along the access route to the Han River. Now I'm just watching to my left to make sure nobody splashes me over there, and trying to pay attention to where I'm stepping, because there are little lakes that are forming in the road even as I speak. Here we are. The first moment of truth is going to be here to see what has happened to the bike trail. And yes, it is extremely flooded. You'll recall, if you've been following my videos, that first this was flooded somewhat, then it was very flooded. Then yesterday the waters had receded, and you could see the bike trail. It was covered with silt and mud. It was unusable, but it was visible, and it was just a few centimeters, a few inches above the water level. And now here it is. This is the most flooded that I've seen it so far. Very, very flooded. Now this is usually a quite small, very modest stream that runs sort of down the center of this body of water, and now it looks like a river. It's not a river really, it's a stream. Chun means stream. And however, in weather like this, it changes, and that is what has happened here. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to make a video of my walk all the way here to the Han. I'm going to sign off for a couple of minutes, but you'll see that oh, there's a bird. The wildlife is enjoying this. But you'll see that this is just absolutely filled to the brim with water. This is probably getting pretty close to its highest point. Its highest point would have been God knows when. There's a bit of some of the vegetation on the other side of the bank is a bit kind of patted down, which means that the water levels were even higher at some point, but it's not a brownish color, and that could be because the rain washed the brown off, or because it was at a very high level maybe an hour or two ago, and it has gone down a little bit. In any event, this is a very full stream, and that means that when we do get to the hand, it's going to be absolutely gorged. Now, one other item that I should mention just before I close is that there was a news story several days ago about North Korea opening one of its reservoir dams without notifying the South, and worsening, exacerbating the flooding along the Han River system. The Han River system links to North Korean river system, I think the Imjingang. I'll have to double check on that. And it would seem that the North Korean authorities, either through arrogance or panic or a bit of both, opened some of their sluices, opened some of their floodgates, and let a lot of water pour through. And that made the river level around Seoul rise. Now, because of the Kunbi event in 2011, when there was flooding, not just here along the tributary, but there was flooding on the city streets, flooding right by the subway station in our neighborhood. I mean, you could go down to the intersection, and it was just pooled with water, around at least half a meter of water. And cars were struggling to drive through it, idiotically. Because of all that, there was a program in Seoul to improve the storm sewers, to build channels into local mountains to control mudslides, which were lethal in 2011, which killed some people. And so the flood management in Seoul is much better. And even with that North Korean alleged, I don't know if the North Koreans have admitted to this, with that alleged opening of the reservoir, the flooding was not that bad. There's another detail too, which connects to Sugi's hometown, which was she lives close to the Sumjingang, which is a river system that empties into the southern part of the Korean Peninsula. In other words, it empties into the sea just at the south of the peninsula, and it had absolutely devastating flooding. I mean, incomprehensible. If you look on the right-hand side here, and you see these concrete pillars that rise up, in Hadong there's a cliff, a naturally occurring cliff. That's a little bit higher than that. Even when the river rises. And at the top of that cliff is a small town, a small village really, called Hwage, which has a bus terminal and has the ice cream and tea shop of a friend of Sugi's. All of that got flooded on the Sumjingang. In other words, you have to imagine a regular flooding level, like imagine that you're looking at another river here. That river rose so high that it rose up to the level of more or less of these concrete pillars, and flooded this village, and it flooded a town on the other side of the river in Cheollanam-do called Gure, which is lower down, is closer to river level or sea level. and got severely flooded. And that too, apparently, Koreans are saying, was because of a floodgate being opened, in this case on the part of South Korean authorities. There's a lot of anger about that. So naturally occurring very heavy rainfalls, human error, human mismanagement are really making this situation difficult outside Korea. Within Seoul, it's annoying, but it's not that bad. And then there is the agricultural impact, which is going to be huge. It's going to be big, big, big. I mean, a lot of crops are going to be, the crop yields are going to be smaller this year. It's not supposed to be raining this much this late in the summer, and a lot of crops are going to be damaged.